Santana. Miss Chanda is the founder of Divas Who Win in Athens, and she's going to tell you all about what that is. So if you do not know what Divas is, we're going to enlighten you on a beautiful organization that I have just grown to love over the past few weeks, and we are excited to see how we can partner with Chanda and with her team at Divas. And anyways, girls, this is going to be a great little podcast for you, and we're going to equip you to do something good in today's time, and we're going to shine a light on some dark topics that need to be talked about. So, Miss Chanda, thank you so much for joining me and all of my friends who we can't see right now, right? But anyways, Miss Chanda, would you just want to talk to us, tell us all about you?
Yeah, so my name is Chandas Santana, and I am, as you mentioned, the founder of a local nonprofit here in Athens called Divas Who Win Freedom Center. And basically, the women that we serve here at Divas, and what our mission is that we create a safe space that destroys stigma and restores dignity to women who are overcoming addiction, prostitution, and sex trafficking survivors. And so long before I ever became a founder, I was a mom. So I'm a mom, a single mom to 6 children who are all grown now. They are in age range of 18 to 29. And we've had a very colorful journey along the way, but by God's grace and mercy and love over our family, we just continue to move forward through rough patches, and most importantly, just together and with Christ in the center of my heart, you know. And so those are like the 2 major things about Chanda.
Yeah, I love that. All of the beautiful children. You want to share with us their names?
Yeah. So we have the eldest is Cedric, and then Cedric's 29, Christian is 27. So Cedric is in Atlanta and being a businessman and all that. He graduated from Presbyterian College. Christian is a nurse in Alabama working on his RN. And then we have James, who recently flew to University of Texas in Austin to begin his PhD program in biology. And then we have the lovely Genesis, who is here local with me, just trying to find her way. Then we've got David, who's 19. He's my only child that's still kind of sort of at home with me, trying to figure out the future. And then the baby just left for Georgia Gwinnett College to become a physical therapist just a few months ago in the midst of the pandemic. And that's Daniel.
That's so wonderful. You have a beautiful, happy home. Okay, so we want to know more about Divas. So can you tell us just a little bit more of your week-to-week activities? And I know my heart is big on the girls coming out of human trafficking. And just talk to us about what you deal with week to week with those girls.
Absolutely. So on average, we have about 150 to 200 women that walk through our doors each month. And so we are considered a recovery community organization. So basically what that means is everything is free, all the services here. Women don't have to have Medicaid or insurance referral or even an agency referral. They can just legitimately come off the streets, walk through our doors, and hopefully they'll find something here that piques curiosity and will keep them connected. So we offer multiple pathways to recovery from addiction and trauma. So that might look like a 12-step group, which would be your traditional Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous or Heroin Anonymous. It might be that they need faith support. And so on Friday nights, we have something that we call Watercolor and Worship. And it's where those who are creatives or wish to kind of work through their trauma through art can do that, and then come on over to our living room that's upstairs, and we have prayer and worship, and we do what's called a peer check-in, which is basically where we're just trying to see how everybody's doing, where they are this week, what's going well, what do they need support in. We have a massage room here at Divas, so that is an extra special treat for women sometimes. So we just believe if we can get them through the front doors and they can find an activity in one of the 6 to 7 rooms that we have here, create conversation. Everybody that's employed at Divas has lived experience in 1, 2, or all 3 parts of the mission. So that's a unique caveat to the traditional experiences when women seek counseling or psychotherapists and whatnot. Oftentimes they may feel like there's a bit of a disconnect, that the person doesn't really understand what they're going through. But we kind of lead this conversation with, hey, I've experienced some similar things. Let me share with you what's helped me. We also have a work readiness lab here where women can come and get support around mock interviews or their resumes, use the computer for whatever business they need to take care of. And then they can even go upstairs and find an interview appropriate outfit to wear to court or to interviews, from the accessories to the bra to the shoes. And so those things are made available through the generosity of community as well. So that's kind of what day-to-day looks like for us as women coming in, doing a various amount of things and keeping those connections. One woman may come here 6 or 7 times this month, and that builds on a relationship. And the relationship is where women really are able to find sustainable ways to stay disengaged from sex trade and stay on a path of sobriety.
So that is just amazing. I was able to tour Divas with Chanda a few weeks ago, and I told her, I was like, this feels like a little sorority home. It just felt so welcoming and such like a little place for girls, it felt I would want to go hang out there. And it looked like a place where girls could go there throughout the day and just relax and have a place where it's a home to them, and they can go there and have fellowship and hang out, and you'll have a little kitchen and they can go there and eat. It was so beautiful. But girls, this place, Divas, I want you to realize it's on your way to Athens. It's in Beechwood. Like, it's on the strip that takes you to Beechwood. So it's so close to our hearts and our home. And Chanda, all the girls who are listening are from Commerce, Jefferson, Athens. Would you want to share with us how you became so passionate about recoverers coming out, rescuers, and I don't know, just share with a little bit of your story and your family story if you want. Yeah,
absolutely. So the reason I have this fire kind of burning inside of me is because 23 years ago, I came out of the sex trade. And, there's a difference between sex trade and sex trafficking. My childhood trauma really prepared me to make certain choices as a 17-year-old, which led into the sex trade, which was by choice. I was in control of the activities that I engaged in. I was in control of my own money. And not to say that I was always in control of circumstances, because bad things did happen. But at the end of the day, I came home back to myself with my own money, and no one could really instruct me what to do or how to do it. So that was the first kind of miraculous thing that happened for me. Was 23 years ago, I was finally able to walk away from a 10-year lifestyle and find a huge amount of freedom. So then my journey led on to actually this past Saturday, I celebrated 14 years of sobriety. So I was really that church girl sitting there on the pew on Sundays, just really with this internal struggle of dependence on painkillers. And I didn't know really where to put that, who to talk to that about. I thought that my faith should pull me through, that there was something inherently wrong with me inside, internally, that I just could not stop this habit. And so one day, my life just led to a place where I had to seek outside support. So I went away to a 6-month intense treatment program. And so I celebrated 14 years of being free from all drugs and alcohol on October the 17th of this year. And so then the third part of our mission that's very personal to me and really was the origin of Divas Who Win was about 3 years and maybe 3 months ago. My 17-year-old daughter, who was a Commerce High School cheerleader, was rescued from a family of sex traffickers, and the FBI rescued her. And we are still kind of on that journey. So what my daughter's experience showed me, what it taught me, I had dreams of building a place for women to come and talk about their trauma, where they felt safe and where we didn't have to carry around the shame, and we could deal with secret addictions, or we could deal with addictions that had made their way into the bad and busted, right? But over the years, there hadn't really been a place for me to put the story of what happened 23 years ago to a church girl, but my daughter's strength and courage and what she was able to come through, I felt compelled, when I needed help in my community there in Commerce. It wasn't available to me. I really didn't know where to reach when I knew that my daughter was in a really bad situation and I wasn't sure how to get her out of it. And she was still a minor. I felt that it was my duty to share what I learned over the last 13 years as I've been engaged in this work, working with women who've been rescued out of trafficking, but never knowing that it would visit my actual child, And so this is just how I decided to pay it forward. If a mom or auntie or dad or coach or parishioner ever found themselves recognizing the signs of trafficking with someone they loved and they didn't know the next step to take, we wanted to be that beacon of light on a hill that could really walk with community members through the emergent stages of what that might look like on that road of recovery. We're 3 years post rescue for my daughter, and we're back here in Athens now. But we were just in court on Monday to face the family of traffickers, and it's a long way back to, I can't even say normal, but it's a long road of healing where victims, survivors is what I like to call them, the multitude of needs, from housing to stable transportation to trauma therapy to finding their own tribe of women who have experienced some of their hardships to sustainability. There's so much into justice. We're still trying to figure out what our role looks like. Do we show up in these hearings on the back row 20 deep with shirts that say hashtag for whoever, to just offer that strength to a girl who is facing a 35-year-old pedophile who trafficked her for the summer, So that is what led me to build Divas Who Win Freedom Center. And our community has been amazing in joining us in this mission so that women can get the support that they need.
Well, Chanda, your story is definitely powerful. And I want to just push in right here that did you, when you were personally in the sex world, did you see light at the end of the tunnel? Did you see any good coming out of that for you?
No, I didn't. It was just a matter of survival, day to day, so much regret. I'd had 2 children before I was able to get out of the sex trade. And I look at those little boys and I wanted so much better, for them. This was not like the grand plan for my life. But as a high school dropout, I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know how to make ends meet. I had such a warped concept of the purpose of men on earth. I had experienced so much violation and I needed to find a way to flip that. And that was my way of taking back power and control over my body, was to abuse the pocketbooks, so to speak, of men and to have them subservient to me, and so I thought that was the trick of the enemy, so no, I didn't my hope was just to finally get out. I just wanted to be a mom, and I just wanted to be out of that lifestyle. But that was my greatest hope. Beyond that, to be a visionary or a founder or a person who could stand on a stage and speak and have others lean in to listen. No, that was nowhere in my scope of reality. And that's what I tell women all the time. We had a group of 32 women at a meeting recently, and we asked survivors to show up, women who were in sex trade currently, it was part of their lifestyle, who had gotten free from its trafficking survivors. And I told them, I said, we're sitting in the belly of my pain, like this building, we're literally sitting in the middle of purpose that I didn't know. And so how much more can we as an agency encourage those 32 women to, what if their stories were able to give birth, to agencies or ministries, or just one-on-one conversations with women who are in that shared place of darkness, because I didn't know it was possible. And so that's something that I'm passionate about, is sparking that inside of other women so that their lived experience can provide a way of escape for others and help them find purpose as well.
That is what I love about the Lord, is that He'll just take any story that we have, any of those hard patches of life that we have, that we're going through, and He uses it for good, and He turns it into a testimony. And I thank you, and am just so thankful for you and your team and what y'all are doing. I'm proud that you stepped into the calling and went into what the Lord purposed for you. But share with me really quick the dangers of going back into the sex trade. Like, I know you have a heart for girls who come out, but talk to us about how easy it is for them to just go right back into the sex world. And if that leads you into how we can help, that would be great.
Yeah. So the vulnerabilities around girls who are trafficked, who become women that are re-trafficked, they're immense, because, trauma is a gateway into this industry. And, a lot of these girls, many haven't finished high school. Many don't even have GEDs. So they're not even positioned in a way in which they are marketable in the workforce. And so many of them have very tainted and warped views of what healthy relationships with men look like, because of their experience that led them into trade or trafficking, as well as to the buyers and the things they've encountered out there. And so this pandemic, the sad part about that is we've seen women that a year ago were on prayer calls with us and checking in as a peer just sort of fall away. And now we see them advertising themselves online with webcam and fan club apps and things to try to make it so the financial piece of sustainability, if a woman can get out of the trade or trafficking, one, she still wears those vulnerabilities that stand out like a red flag as recruiters and traffickers are on the hunt. The recruiters are aware that we're in a pandemic. They're aware of unemployment rates. They're aware of unstable housing. So they have turned up their marketing and their targeting practices. So women who have come out, they're not healed completely. They're still on that pathway. They may not be 23 years on the inroads, and so that's their hustle. Women go back to the hustle or to that need of being taken care of, and they buy the story from the trafficker. You won't have to worry about X, Y, Z because I'll take care of you. And that's a hole that these women, many were seeking from the very beginning. And so, it's heartbreaking for us, but our goal, we just stay connected in spite of, and just see what kind of support can we offer at this point, for women on their journey. Teaching a woman who may have some time and distance between drugs and her brain, from sex trade and her body, but the sustainability, like, can she sustain that? Because for her, going to work at Zaxby's or McDonald's for 30 hours a week is almost off the table when she knows in one night she can make that revenue and won't have to worry about paying for daycare for the other 5 days of the week for her child. So that you asked, like, how can your community come into that equation and be a part of? So we have a few things that we're working on to provide jobs for survivors and to provide sustainability for the organization. So at our secondary location, which is in the Tracy Street warehouse, we're getting ready to open up a gently used boutique for the community to come in and shop. And it will be in the middle of our education center, where you really can just walk through that store and learn more about sex trafficking, learn about warning signs, learn about Georgia data, and see hope, see pictures of women who've made their way out, and see a little blurb out of their story and how they are sustaining themselves. So that's just the beginning to our grandiose goal of having a 2-year free safe house for survivors. Because 30 days isn't going to cut it. 90 days is not going to cut it. We have to walk with women over time and stay connected to them. So the boutique is one of the answers to being able to fund the bigger project for us, which is the safe house for these survivors.
I'm very excited about the boutique. That is going to be a dream for you. So we're excited for that. So you'll definitely have some Southside girls coming to visit the boutique. But if you could take a second to share some just stats. And like I said, we are from Commerce to Athens area and all in between, but some realistic stats. I want these girls, obviously your story shows that it's real, but if you can talk about how it is in Athens and also how real it can be for one of these girls with a friend of theirs as a mom, or someone with social media on their phones. Just talk to us a little bit about how real this world is to our listeners.
Yeah. So if we were to just sort of drill down from the larger scope, so on average in the state of Georgia, 350 to 400 girls are sold online each month. And those girls range in age 12 to 14. And so that's real data where we're not looking at Indonesia, we're not looking at Ghana, we are looking at the state of Georgia, with Atlanta being one of the 14 top U.S. cities for trafficking. And so when we think about Atlanta, we don't exclude ourselves because we're here in Athens or Commerce or Jefferson, because what happens is that the traffickers leverage their reach into the more rural areas where these girls might not be quite as street savvy or have the exposure to the game, so to speak, as girls who maybe grow up in the inner city. And so these girls, if they own one of these, that is the pathway to which traffickers can begin to pull from any zip code, any zip code, and that the girls eventually will land in more of the metropolitan areas, but they're moved around, so much. And so when you think about the development of the brain of a 12 to 14-year-old, just still ultra naive, takes a lot of risk in a very transitional stage of life, searching for identity, going from little girl to womanhood, adolescence. So during that period of time. And I can share with you the realest statistic that I can share is a rehab that I worked for that was actually in Franklin County. But out of that rehab, out of the 52 women that I surveyed, those women came from Hart County, Jackson, Athens, Oglethorpe, a few from Oconee, but that was the 5-county makeup of the women who were there at the rehab. And out of the 52, 45 answered yes to the question, have you ever been involved in the sex trade? And, that had a multiple choice from worked at massage, they were pimped through massage parlors, through hotels, truck stops, and whatnot. And some of their stories, when asked for those who are comfortable in sharing, some of their stories began at age 13, began at age 14, and they bounced around until substances were now involved. And that was how they coped with that experience over the last 2 decades of their life. So that, my daughter was trafficked with her best friend, and both lived right there in Commerce. And when I did pull a data report about 2 years ago, the stats were from 2018. The youngest child that was documented and trafficked from Athens was 9 years old, and that was what was on record. And I want to say that they had 28 cases were reported that year. And so when you think about reporting, that takes a couple of extra steps. If 28 were reported, this does not mean that there were only 28 that existed. These were the ones that got caught, that there was an alert, someone noticed. So I don't know what the real number looks like in reality, but 28, I mean, think about a girls' basketball team, an entire basketball team from Commerce or from South Jackson or from Clark Central being trafficked. Like, I think that's the way that we have to, from your small group, so 28 is a big enough number for me to be consumed by this mission and want to educate and empower community to help us in this fight.
Oh, and I just know from reading friends' posts on Facebook and looking at personal families that I know and them finding DMs on their daughters' social media, their daughters who live under their roof, that some other fake 13-year-old boy has messaged them and found out their parents' names, and they'll use that as, if you don't send me this picture, like, I'm going to come after your family. And then the 10-year-old feels like they have a job to do, to protect their loved ones. And I just, I want our people to know how real this is. And the 28 number, like, that's for us. Like, I don't want us to think that this is a worldwide crime, one of the biggest crimes in the whole world. How can I be a help to it? Think of the 28 number, okay? I can help one girl, or I can help 28 girls. I think of just my small group. Well, there's 18 girls in that, Like you said, think of people who are close to your home. 28 is not a large number, but neither is one. And if this video with you helps us all reach one person, that is what we're here for. And that's what my heart just burdens for, is how can I help one person? Mm-hmm. And this is just the biggest factor to putting an end to human trafficking and sex trafficking, in my opinion, is bringing awareness to it. Mm-hmm. And the awareness needs to show how real this is in our back doors, and maybe not even in our back doors. What if it's in your home? And that's where it gets scary. And the scary part that you said, we don't even know a lot of the numbers. This is such an underground crime. The world is missing. What if, like, the 28 number is just, like you said, who have been found? And human trafficking, it's very hard to find the people. They do a great job at hiding it. And so I thank you for sharing that. But help us talk about, is there any way else that if you could just share for our people to be a voice and a light and help this? I know bringing awareness to it. Do you have any more steps of how exactly they could go about doing that?
Well, I would say, partnering with any agency, Divas Who Win, of course, we're here in Athens, but there are other safe houses. There's so many different needs, and there's no part too small. I know when my daughter was rescued, they was on Sunday morning, and they worked her at the hotel all night. So all she was wearing that morning was a pair of gym shorts and a t-shirt. So no undergarments whatsoever. And she had 5 suitcases worth of clothes and makeup and all this stuff that was being kept at the mother of the trafficker's home. So when the FBI did the raid and pulled her out, she was left with nothing. All of that went into evidence, which is still in evidence 3 years later. So she didn't even have a bra or a pair of panties to wear, so how undignified to be reminded of what you came out of, that you you don't have anything. So when I think about that, I remember one of the advocates in that process a few days later had some yoga pants and sports bra. And I just watched my daughter's face light up when they gave her that knapsack. But, any type of partnership with another agency, maybe you'll do a yoga pants drive or a tampon drive to help agencies who may provide self-care bags. There's so many ways to connect in with others who may, like us, doing more of the frontline work, but definitely through your prayers. We're here praying every Friday night. One of our dreams is that we'll partner with enough women's groups that on Sundays or Saturdays when we're closed, that people will just come and pray and walk through our building, when we're not here. So there's a multitude of ways to partner. And in terms of your due diligence as mom, as caregiver, as social worker, as peer, there's something powerful about peer-to-peer, for the younger college girls, like the girls on campus at UGA and Piedmont, and that you're not exempt. Those girls usually get trafficked through a Romeo pimp, meaning a boyfriend pimp, where they don't know that it's turning into that. So keeping each other accountable and safe is really important as well.
So I know you have a Christmas event coming up. Would you share with us just what the Christmas event is and your dream and vision for that with your girls?
Yeah, so this will be our 3rd year hosting an event called Joyfest, and each year it has a theme. Last year was Joyfest Winter Wonderland, and what happens is survivors and women who are on their road to recovery from addiction, they come from the local recovery residences or Salvation Army, or some who are living on their own now. And we just have a delightful evening of fellowship. We have what we call our power panel, where there are other survivors giving testimony. The women take selfies. We have professional photographers on site, pictures with Santa. We have makeup artists. So this year looks a little bit different due to the pandemic, but we wanted to go ahead with the event and just schedule in the appointments this year. But this year's theme is called the Toy House, because we were really concerned about moms who have experienced hardship as a result of the pandemic. So the Toy House, our house that Ansleigh talked about earlier, it's a 2-story house. We will theme each room. And so this year we plan to have 2 massage therapists in one of the rooms working side by side one another. We have an art cafe, so to speak, upstairs. So we like to invite a couple of artists to work in there with the girls as they're creating. We're going to have the Grinch, we think, this year, because the Grinch will be already covered up COVID fashion, less risk than having Santa Claus. And so our dream is to just turn this house into a house of holiday festivities. But the real goal is that women will be able to go to our little tiny house out back, which will be Santa's workshop, and shop for their kids with just paper money. You know, they will be able to get a box of diapers if that's what they need, and just whatever the needs are. In years previous, we've we've been able to provide some Christmas trees, the mini trees, as well as standard ones, and ornaments, because believe it or not, that's a real hardship for some women when they're in the early stages of putting their lives back together. So this year, we're partnering with our community to solicit toys for children age 0 to 12, $15 gift cards to Bath and Body Works for the ladies, because we know what moms will do. If you give them a $25 gift card to Walmart, she's going to spend it on the kids and nothing for herself. So last year, we had a church that helped sponsor those gift cards for the mom, and just to see the joy on their face, which would seem like for this little token, but for one thing that's just for her, is pretty special. So that's Joyfest this year. We're going to still do it up. Yeah, we're going to have the snow machine outside and just bring joy, give women for one day something they can really hang on to and smile about, and detach from maybe some more dire circumstances they may be surviving currently.
I love that. So, girls, we are going to be able to partner and help Chanda and Divas with this event. And it just sounds incredible and so joyful, right? Like, I just hear the joy in your voice talking about it. But the well is coming up Monday. Obviously, we hope you will all be joining us. It'll be at Redstone. And the fundraiser that we're doing for the month, the goal that we have is going to be for Divas. And we're going to be able to bring in, if you just want to share donations, then Southside Women, we're going to take that task of shopping for you if you just want to provide financially. But we'll also be able to collect some toys for that 0 to 12, right? So we said 0 to 12 years old. And then also those gift cards. Think of you, girl. Like, think of what you like to shop at. And she mentioned just Bath and Body Works. That's so simple. And right now, I know all of us are going to Bath and Body Works. So pick up a gift card and bring that Monday. And we'll share more on how you can drop that off throughout the week, next week, if you're not able to make it to the well. But we definitely want to be of any help to you, Chanda. And I love what you mentioned about a prayer walk through your building, and we would love to come and just pour blessing upon blessing over Divas. And girls, I have taken on the task of being an advocate for sex trafficking, and I would like to share with you my email, and I'm creating a blog that's going to go out once a week of ways that we can help. And for the next few months, it's specifically going to be with Divas, and we're going to create that prayer walk and so much more. But it's ansleigh99@gmail.com. I'm going to let Chanda share with you her information as well, but my name is spelled Ansleigh, and then it's 99@gmail.com. So I'll get you on my personal email list so I can help partner, and I can help give you ways to partner and make a difference more in depth. But remember to be here for the one. And you're here to share light for that one girl, and maybe you can be a voice in getting her to recovery. But I do want to share with you the verse from Esther. And Esther, to me, has always been just a rock in who I am and what I stand for. But it's Esther 4, verses 12 through 14. It says, "Do not think because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. But you and your father's family will then perish. Because who knows, you might have been here, and you might have come to your royal position for such a time as this." I want to transform this into our day, because the Lord is saying He's going to bring His people to rescue. He is going to bring out His children from this slavery, today's slavery. He will rescue them. But He's asking us to rescue them. He's asking us to be a voice for them today. And throughout the entire Bible, especially in Isaiah 43:5, it says, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bring the children from the east and gather them from the west." So he's saying he will do it. He's going to bring his children home. But are you going to help? Are you going to say yes to the calling? I'm very thankful that Chanda said yes to her calling, because we would not be having this conversation without her. And these stories and these girls we wouldn't be able to have our hands on them from Athens. No one else is doing it. So girls, step into your calling and grab hold of what if you were made for just this time. And think about the one family. Think about the mom who you might want to share a story with to check her daughter's Instagram. Think about how you can help more. Do you have a lot of free time? Can you help Chanda more? Can you help more in your community? How can you be a voice for this? Because it's time for us to have some more Esthers in the world. We don't need just one. It's time to have a lot more. And I'm so excited that we have been able to find you, Chanda, and to be able to partner with you. And we have Athens. We're in Athens, Southside is, and now we have a campus in Commerce. I remember talking to you about a new rescue home that you're friends with, who's going to be opening up in Commerce. So girls from Commerce, there's more coming, and we have options to be a voice and to be that Esther. So let's do it. Let's help in any way possible. So thank you so much, Chanda. Do you have anything else you would like to add and challenge our girls with as we finish today?
I just want to say thank you for allowing this time. And the thing that sticks with me is what you've already said. What about the one? Like, this problem can seem so heavy and so broad and so deep that, oh my gosh, 400 girls are sold online each month. But, my daughter was named after the first book of the Bible, Genesis. She is the beginning. She's my only daughter. And I think of her, when I sat with the FBI this week, and I just was so emotional. I know how hard the road is for these girls to have the courage to keep showing up for these meetings and to try to seek justice. And the FBI assured me, that it was about the one. Maybe they did the other 200 that they worked on in a certain amount of time. Maybe they couldn't get where they wanted to, but they are so confident about bringing justice to the end for the one. And if we can, all of us can see that, the one girl who may impact, all my daughter talked about on the way home on Monday was Divas being left behind for her and for one of our other peer coaches' daughters. We all, have all these girls. She was like, it's going to be our job, Mom, to carry this on after you and Miss Michelle are no longer doing this work. And, she's 21 today. So the one matters for sure. The one Christmas tree, the one pack of diapers, the one matters. And I just thank you all for opening up your hearts and your minds and taking this time to hear this message and to learn more about us. You can find us at divaswhowin.org. And my personal email is info@divaswhowin.org. We do have volunteer opportunities and you can stay abreast. And Facebook is the easiest place to find us. We stay pretty current there, maybe more so than our website. So again, thank you all so much.
Thank you. So girls, follow Divas. They have an Instagram as well if you're an Instagram girl. And then email us. Email Chanda if you want to be involved with her personally. Email me. Email the Well. Just show us that you're interested and get us your contact. We won't put you on those lists to get the contacts and the information out weekly unless we have it. So just email and say, I'm here for the one. I want to shine a light. I want to do more. This is just the surface of sex trafficking. We shared with you the little details of what it is. There's so much more. There's so much more. And there's so many ways that you can help and just keep putting an end to this. So we can do it. We can put an end to this.
Yes.
And we're going to start with it here in Athens and in Commerce. So girls, we hope to see y'all at the well on Monday. We hope you have a wonderful day today. And we love you and we are for you. We are for Divas. We are for you, Chanda. We are here for anything you ever need. So girls, have a great day. We love y'all and we will talk to y'all soon.